I recently had a chance to sit down with three hosts that I greatly admire: Brian Corsetti, Jeannie Mai, and Lance Smith. They're all working hosts who've been in this business for a while now. I wanted to have them share some of their valuable advice and experiences with you to hopefully give you some inspiration for your own hosting careers. In this video, we'll find out why they became hosts, some of the skills that they needed, and what they do when they have a bad audition. This is part one of The Host Tell All.
I've always wanted to be a host. I just didn't know what hosting was. I did radio for 7 years, Florida, New York, and I kind of was fed up with it. So I quit, moved out to Los Angeles, and got a job as an account executive working with Fortune 500 companies. Until a buddy of mine says, you know, you used to do a lot of this radio and you're really good at it. You should take this class, this hosting class. And I took that class and the lights came on. I'm like, that's it. That's what I want to do. And then I dug in deep. My client that I was working as an accounting executive, we were kind of casting this show, 6-episode sports show, and we couldn't find the guy. Well, I loved hosting, so I was like, if the guy could just do this, and I did my thing, and then my client's like, you're the dude, and I'm like, what? I'm the dude? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, I'm the dude.
The reason why I decided to become a host is because I grew up in a household of 16 people in a 3-bedroom home. My mom and dad came here from Vietnam to build a better living for me. And so the minute they were settled with their finances, they sponsored the rest of my aunts, uncles, and cousins all to come over. And in that crazy busy household, I immediately learned 2 things. One is how to make myself stand out, let my voice be heard, and to make sure that I'm seen and respected. And then 2, how to make sure other people are noticed and how other people's voices count. And so I was constantly in my household, always like making sure, you know, baby Kim would be able to like speak up and say something, or like my grandmother would have a voice and she's not done eating, so don't clear the plates yet. Or my uncle had a really crazy day and he looked stressed out, so Uncle Jesse, what's going on with you? What was going on in your day? So that just kind of set the stage for me as a host today, is just to be able to be that live microphone for everybody else to have a voice.
I wanted to become a host in the beginning because I was an actor, and I thought, well, sure, I can do this too. But I quickly learned that it wasn't that easy. You know, in the beginning, I wanted to be an actor, and everything I did was for acting, and I found an opportunity to audition to become a host. And I thought, sure, I'll fake it, and that's absolutely what I did. And I learned that I needed more skills than just acting. For the better part of a decade, almost 10 years, I was the face of CMT, MTV's country music channel. I hosted many shows, mainly their Top 20 Countdown. I hosted that for over 8 years. And along the way, I hosted shows like Can You Duet, which is a Fremantle program. I hosted Farm Aid 1 year outside of CMT. So I've done a lot, but mainly within the country music genre. It's been a good ride.
Right now, I'm being really blessed with the opportunity of hosting a show called How Do I Look on Style Network. It's been going on for almost 13 seasons, and the last 3 seasons are when I stepped on and hosted, and it's also the first ever 3 seasons where the show has been nominated now for its 2nd Emmy. And I say this in all pride because it's our team together. The entire team being able to put that stage together so that I could shine and bring it to life is the work of everybody. I was also the first ever Asian correspondent on Extra next to Mario Lopez. We both shared our dimple space. And I also was able to finish the first ever 150 episodes of a show called Character Fantasy for Magical Elves, which is a huge production company for Project Runway today and Top Chef.
Some of the shows that I've done in the past, I hosted Garage Mahal on DIY and HGTV Network. I was the exclusive host for CBS's Victoria's Secret Behind the Scenes, which you don't see on TV. I've done a lot of extreme sports shows for Current TV and NBC. The last one that I've done is called The Great Ride, which aired on Fox Sports, which you gave me a motorcycle, I drove around the country, and I checked out great rides. That was a fun show.
The #1 skill I needed to have immediately upon pursuing to become a host is first an attitude of gratitude. You cannot make it as a host in this industry by yourself at all, zero. You have to really recognize every single moving part that makes it come to fruition. So that is the big, that's the big jump, first of all, is just to expect nothing and appreciate everything.
Originally, in the beginning, becoming a host, I realized that I needed more skills than just acting. Hosting is about conveying an idea to the audience and keeping them right there with you the whole time, maintaining that connection. And then I had to learn to convey what's happening within our show to the audience, and it's more than just a performance. So the skills needed, you have to be able to connect with your audience. That is first and foremost the one thing you have to do at all times.
I think you were there. It was an e-audition, and they brought me in to read the teleprompter. First time I did it, and I was like a kindergartner. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, this is something I really need to work on, and I lived and breathed just reading a teleprompter.
The second thing I would have to say is to have an attitude of selflessness, to really understand that as a host, you are creating that spotlight for whatever the subject matter is around you. So whether it be the show, the contestants, the people, the story, the heart, the triumph, you have to be able to bring that to the biggest point of energy and climax as possible.
I learned to stay connected to the audience by being a member of the audience. I know that sounds weird, but you almost have to put yourself in the audience, in their seat. You have to think about what you're delivering and how they're taking it, and remembering that the show's not about you as the host. The show is not about you. And if you can remember that, and that you're serving a need, you're delivering something, you can hold on to that, then you quickly acquire those hosting skills.
I'm a confident guy, right? But I feel that because of the way the business is, you need to make sure that you're 150 million% confident, because you got to not sweat the small stuff. When I have a bad audition, I know it. Everybody knows they have a bad audition. No apologies are necessary in the audition room. Don't even think about saying I'm sorry. You just gather up your dignity and you walk out that door. But at the beginning stages of me being a host, I felt like I had it. I had some experience prior, and I felt like I was good enough, but I didn't think I was good. Everyone's going to tell you that you're great, you're awesome, you're cool, but only you are going to know that you're good. Don't do a lot of comparing, but look at what's on TV. I saw what's on TV in the first year I tried hosting, and I realized I'm not that guy yet, you know? So if you blow an audition, literally just grab your dignity and just walk out the door. Learn from it, and don't do it again. If you do get a call back and you know you didn't do good on the audition, you better not flub the call back. You know, this is your second time to to shine. You're back up to bat, and you better hit a grand slam.
Bad auditions happen to everybody. They happen to everybody. It's somewhere along the career, you know, even if they're huge and they're still auditioning for things. If you're auditioning for something, it can go wrong. It can be bad. I don't care how good you are. And you know, I've had more bad auditions than good auditions. You know, that's good. I think you kind of want that ratio, because you've got to keep trying. If you're having more good auditions than bad auditions, you're not auditioning enough. So when they are bad, roll with it. Learn from it. You know, why was that audition bad? Think about it, and don't think that it wasn't you. You know, a bad audition could be you. You could be the problem in the audition. You know, and maybe it was just you're not a good fit. But learn from it. Learn what you can from it, and then forget about it. Don't hold on to it.
I hustled my butt off before I had an agent. And I was on Craigslist, Actors Access. I would do, you know, Twitter was in its infancy, so I literally took that to the max and like followed people and write back and tried to follow their blogs, and I was on blogs trying to question and like, you know, something that I was interested in, which is cars. I would get on car blogs and I would give advice. I would offer up information. That was the start. You know, a lot of people say Craigslist and Actors Access, and yeah, I did get those. But what I really got a lot of feedback on was when I was being myself, responding with information, providing content, And people were like, hey, that was a very smart thing you said. We're hosting this new show. It has nothing to do about cars. Believe it or not, it's a red carpet. Why don't you come in and read for us? Sure, okay, no problem. And that's the opportunities that you've got to kind of listen for and be aware of.
I really hustled my butt to find out any casting calls that I needed to submit myself to. I never mailed anything. I walked everything firsthand through the door, even if it meant me waiting around for hours in a lobby. I wanted to make sure things got to people's hands. I was pretty hardcore when it came to working the administrative, front desk people, to waiting till somebody would, be on their way out for lunch and I would hand them my work, or try to get into personal conversations with individuals, like networking all the way. So I really focused on building relationships with people, and not just so they would hire me, but just so that I could build a connection to know them, because it doesn't matter if I was hired or not, but just to make sure that they knew who I was. I would look up productions when shows would roll their credits, and I would write them down, find their address, and go find out who their casting director was, and go and just build a relationship with them, tell them how much of a fan I am about their show, like really making it about knowing their work and knowing what they've put forth, rather than just like, hi, I'm cute, hire me.
In the beginning, in any young host career, finding a job is difficult, but if you don't have a lot of experience, the entire industry's out in front of you, so you have lots of choices. And nowadays, with the computers and the internet, you have many more options of finding jobs. When I was starting, if it wasn't in the newspaper or in some industry magazine, it was strictly word of mouth, and that was it. But now with message boards and Craigslist and you name it, there are lots of opportunities out there. Never get complacent in how you get your jobs, and even when you get an agent, you still have to find those jobs, and you just call your agent when you find it, but you have to stay on top of it.